podcast is going to win us an Emmy. It's Harmless Phosphorescence. Hello, everyone. This is your host, Thoreau Smiley, and I'm as dirty as a warthog. Who's joining me this week?
I'm Josh CC, just driving around Africa looking for a little head.
I'm Brian Lesh, and my locust bean cakes are your locust bean cakes, baby.
I'm Alaric Weber, and I give shitty high fives.
It's true. You gotta look at the elbow.
No, I don't know. He gives some decent ones. The long
Just so
arms,
tall.
the wide hands.
They're not those ones where you just kind of thrust the hand out like you're doing a football. Like,
Or the miss.
yeah, the miss. This is Harmless Phosphorescence. It's the podcast where we watch every theatrically released full-length live-action superhero movie ever made. We gather some research into the production and source material, then we tell you all about it. This show is brought to you by our patrons. Patrons like executive producers Michael Beckwith and Atticus Burkett. You want to be a patron too? It's $1 a month. $1.
Holla.
Everybody, come on. I know there are ones of you listening to us right now, so go to patreon.com/harmless entertainment.
What are you doing? Just giving that buck to a panhandler? Come on.
This isn't a shakedown, but give us your $1.
Yeah. We want to give us $1. Come on, guys.
We can't even ride a bus with.
Yeah, but we got a ton of bonus shows there. Coming up later this month, we'll be doing an episode on Jack and Jill. Both of them.
I was going to say, finally, Jill's story is sold.
Yeah, it's the superhero movie you've all been waiting for.
Dunkachino.
I almost forgot.
I did too.
Yeah, that's Dunkachino is the one and only reason I'm even considering.
Oh, absolutely.
But this week, though, that's our Patreon. That's our monthly movie, patreon.com/harmless entertainment. But this week on Harmless Phosphorescence, we're watching Sheena.
Is it Queen of the Jungle? Or
She was an innocent in a savage world. He was a stranger from a distant land. Their struggle against an overwhelming evil turned into a discovery of overpowering love. Sheena. She alone has the power to save paradise.
That's it. Nice and short. That was the only trailer I could find online. It was 25 seconds.
I'm so
That's
glad there
insane.
wasn't more of the movie in the trailer.
Yeah, because it definitely probably tricked people. Like it's Tarzan. It's Lady Tarzan. They gave no indication of like being brought up in the jungle or the bush.
Yeah, they use.
It's just like this pretty lady can save paradise, and this average-looking man will win her heart.
Yeah. To your question though, Josh, it was the movie was not Queen of the Jungle. It was just Sheena.
Okay, yeah, the internet was telling me both, but
I guess it was released theatrically as Sheena, and sometimes on home video it was on the box titled Sheena, Queen of the Jungle.
Yeah, I see. And that would make sense. Just Sheena tells you nothing if you're not familiar with the pulp comic. You know, at least the Tarzan movies gave you a little, like Lord of the Apes or Prince of Greystoke.
Yeah, it gave you.
This is just Sheena. It's like, what, does she work in a local bar? Who is Sheena?
Yeah. Sheena was a punk? Like, which Sheena are we talking about?
Just Sheena.
Oh, and this came out
Only
the same.
Sheena can save Africa.
This came out the same year as the Tarzan. As Lord Greystoke, Tarzan,
Prince of Greystoke.
Greystoke.
The like the serious one about his like noble family
with the Highlander. What's his face is the as Tarzan. Christopher something, right?
Yeah, Christopher Lambert.
Christopher Lambert as Tarzan.
I remember.
That's one we had on video that I watched multiple times. That's not.
I
really,
liked that movie.
I loved it as a kid. Haven't seen it since the
At the
80s,
time.
so I have no idea what it's like actually.
Yeah. That's true. I haven't watched a Tarzan movie since I've realized
that it's just a
racist
dude.
that is.
just so racist.
That brings us to Sheena.
Yeah.
Indeed, Sheena was released the 17th of August, 1984, my birthday week. I was turning 8. Yeah, I was turning 8 years old. Oh, I actually remember pictures of that birthday. It was me with I remember definitely with like Natalie and Jolan and all of them, but wearing a Michael Jackson Beat It t-shirt, blowing out my candles. Yeah,
Man.
I look back at old T-shirts. Yeah, I had one that just had a Smurf on it that said "New Kid in Town."
what does that mean?
I just want that. I want it now.
Yeah. Yep. I have so many band T-shirts that I miss.
So many vintage
Lost
Star
into
Wars
the
shirts.
ether.
Oh yeah,
Ex-girlfriends' closets and gas station bathrooms or wherever.
You got to stop getting shirtless in gas station bathrooms. Brian.
Don't tell me how to live my life, Thoreau.
Don't tell you how to
man's
run
gotta
your
eat.
business.
Yeah.
Released the 17th of August, 1984 with Sheena. It has a running time of 117 minutes. It cost $25 million.
What?
I assume a lot of that's like in equipment and
And
access
effects. They
and-
blew up a
and-
helicopter.
They
and
blew-
flights and because they filmed this in Kenya, right?
Painting
Yeah.
horses
Yeah.
black and
Like-
white.
They've yes, and they filmed it in Kenya and painted horses black and white.
I think that getting things to that location was probably a large chunk of their budget.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, yeah, for
Yeah, there's plane shots,
yeah,
cheap
no,
action shots, helicopter.
it was a
close-up.
big production. They expected this to be a big like action summer movie.
That's true. Most of the shots are helicopter shots from bird's eye view, even.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, they definitely thought this was going to be something.
they really did. But it ended up making $5,700,000 at the box office. It was
Wow.
it was a huge bomb. And I think that means, guys, let's play the box office top 10 game.
Like, that has to be a concerted effort. Back at that time, now we have Rotten Tomatoes and we let other people tell us. But, like, if it cost 25 and it only made 5, the country went out and told everyone, like, don't fucking see this.
No, the
Like,
first
how do you not accidentally make 10 million at that time?
right? Yeah, no, like
Just
that.
people that go to movies every weekend?
The first week, people walked in and watched Sheena, and then went out and said, "Don't watch Sheena" to everyone they knew.
There's not enough naked kids.
So yeah, the box office top 10 game. This is the game where I am going to describe the top 10 movies of the week based on the box office mojo descriptions mostly. And the guys are going to try to guess what movie I'm describing. Here we go. I just wanted to point out that at number 11 was Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
For how long had that been up?
That had been out for 9 weeks at that point. It had already made $162 million.
And Short Round finally got his Oscar.
Yeah. At number 10 this week, though. I'm going to read just the first part of this sentence and see what you guys can come up with. A young
It's a great
man.
way to start.
Yeah. A young man inadvertently breaks 3 important rules.
Aw, Gremlins.
Gremlins.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
I follow Joe Dante on social media. He is delightful.
I bet. I want to do The Burbs someday.
Oh my God.
And
I
Joe versus
posted
the
that-
Volcano. I love both of those movies.
Brain
Wait,
Clap?
that's not Tom Hanks and Joe versus the Volcano. That's Joe Dante.
No.
No, Joe Dante's the director.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say. I was like, wait. I was thinking it
Yeah.
was the kid from.
No, he made those movies. One of the most comedic moments in any film is when the paper boy hits Tom Hanks with the paper and he just throws his coffee
Yes.
in the direction of the kid.
I feel like we've, all right. So Tom Hanks, he got to be like an actor and win Oscars and shit, but I feel like we really lost like one of the all-time great comedic leads.
Yeah, he was on his way to being a very funny man.
Yeah.
He's in a Wes Anderson movie.
Yeah.
Could happen. And I'm excited to see him in a Wes Anderson movie.
He's
Him and
dabbled
Steve
here
Carell.
and there, but after Philadelphia,
Yeah.
people
There was
started pigeonholing him.
there was no going back to like The Burbs and Bachelor Party movies for him.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
What's the dog movie that he's in with the
Turner and Hooch.
Turner and Hooch. Yeah.
Or if you ask me, Hooch and Turner. I mean,
Yeah, that dog is the star.
At number 9 this week at the box office. Oh my God. I'm just going to read the whole thing. There's no getting around this one. She grew up in the African wild, raised by a mystical witch woman. When her foster mother is framed for murder, she's forced to flee, helped by her ability to talk to animals and her knowledge of the jungle. Oh my God. How is that description
Gorillas in the Mist.
Yeah, how is that description more racist than the actual movie?
Yeah, it somehow was. She was a shaman. But they're like, no, witch lady. But anyways, yeah,
Sheena.
shit.
Yeah, Sheena opened at number 9, and it only got worse from there.
I guess.
Opening this week at number 8. Oh, wow. This is a movie I have not seen since probably 1985. A man who can enter and manipulate people's dreams is recruited by a government agency to help cure the president of his nightmares about nuclear war, but he stumbles upon an assassination plot.
Oh,
What is this movie?
Freddie versus Nixon.
God, give me that movie.
Wow, the CIA would totally hire Freddy
Earth
Krueger.
to Dream.
Wow, I forgot this movie existed. Enter.
Yeah, one actor.
Yeah. Okay. So, this movie is. Let's see. This movie stars Dennis Quaid, Max von Sydow, Kate Capshaw, and Christopher Plummer.
Huh.
Yeah. It's called Dreamscape.
Oh,
Oh.
Huh. I thought
Kate
I remembered
Capshaw
this.
was working.
Yeah.
Temple of Doom.
Yeah, well, and the poster looks so Indiana Jonesy, which is not what the movie was. But
Oh, it does not sound like that.
yeah. No, that movie was crazy. But again, I haven't seen it since like 1985, so I don't know what it's like in reality. At number 7 this week, in its 5th week of release. How do I? Okay, this description. An old man teaches a boy to.
This could be really bad or fine.
Yeah, just an old man teaches a boy. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, at this day and age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is he teaching?
So this.
You ever seen a grown man naked, Tommy?
It better be one of those 3 R's: reading, writing, or arithmetic.
Rectal examination.
He taught him the secret lies in the mind and heart, not in the hands.
Oh, well, that's good, I guess. It could be a lot worse.
Yeah.
This is technically became a franchise that still is currently ongoing, and it's in a different form.
Is this the Puppet Master?
No, oh my God, no. It's much more well regarded than the Puppet Master. This movie was a humongous hit, like I said, in its 5th week. It's already made 61 million domestic.
Okay, it's still going on today.
Still going on today in some form.
Like as a cartoon?
No. It's a series. I think it's currently on Netflix.
Oh, the Addams Family?
No.
No, that was the 90s.
Yeah.
You were on it with the hands, though.
Yeah. The secret lies in the mind and heart, not in the hands.
Oh, wait, an old man.
Teaches a young boy. A young boy who was bullied. It was the 80s.
Oh, Karate Kid.
Karate Kid. Yes.
Oh, yes, very
Yes.
good. I was about to say Never Ending Story, which technically is never ending.
I mean, it was on Stranger Things, I guess, in that song.
Yeah.
It lives on.
Karate Kid, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, this movie. Wow. I feel like I watched... Okay, this next one I feel like I watched a lot as a kid, too, and I'm not sure why or... All right. On his way to work, Teddy spots Charlotte, an incredibly beautiful woman. He really wants to meet her, but what would his wife say? Oh, I didn't remember that was the plot. This is one of those ones that has a paragraph on the poster. I'm going to read it. Shy, quiet, Teddy Pierce wanted a little adventure, and one day it walked into his life in a silk dress. Now his wife is packing a gun. His friends are going nuts trying to cover for him, and he's about to get caught with his pants down on the 6 o'clock news. Be very careful of what you want, because you just might get it.
Is this a comedy?
I think so. It definitely stars. It definitely stars.
Is it Chevy Chase?
No. It stars. I'll just tell you. It stars Gene Wilder and Kelly LeBrock.
Oh, the Lady in Red.
Woman in Red.
Woman in Red.
And the song that went with it was Lady in Red. But
yeah, Christopher Cross. Right?
Yeah. But the movie was Woman in Red.
All right.
Yeah.
Girl. So she grew up. I knew her as a girl.
That was a movie song?
Lady.
Yeah.
Weird.
He wrote a few. Between the Moon and New York City was for a movie, I believe.
Yeah, I think it was. What was it? I can't remember.
It's something about Toledo.
At number 5 this week. At Adams College, a group of bullied outcasts and misfits resolve to fight back for their peace and self-respect.
Revenge of the Nerds?
Nerds!
You just got your asses kicked by a bunch of goddamn nerds.
Yeah, that was filmed
Here
in Tucson. Yeah.
Weird.
They didn't have to change anything. It was Adams College. Everything had A's on it.
Yeah.
And Booger, I can't remember his name in that. Is it Booger?
Yeah, it's Booger.
Yeah, it's Booger. Wearing his Greasy Tony shirt.
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh, man, I miss Greasy Tony's.
And where the asshole jocks lived is the fraternity there in university with the columns.
Yeah.
Oh,
and there was another one. It was right around the park there on 4th. One of those houses with the columns was used also.
I think it's the farmer frat. That's one of them right around there. The agricultural. Well, yeah. Anyway,
It used to be. They've the frats have moved around a little bit.
Yeah.
As
they do.
It used to be the Aggie house.
Yes, the Aggies. That's right.
At number 4 this week at the box office, a young musician tormented by an abusive situation at home must contend with a rival singer, a burgeoning romance, and his own dissatisfied band as his star begins to rise.
This band.
His band, yes. This is a
Crossroads?
No. This is a much bigger movie than that. And it stars a humongous star, not known for his screen work. Spawned one of the it also has
Oh, is this Purple Rain?
it is Purple Rain.
Purple Rain, yes.
Yeah. Rockstar movies would be a one I think would be fun to do at some point.
Yeah.
Movies starring rock stars.
For a while, they were like pro wrestlers are now.
Yeah.
Like, let's see if they can make a movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for a brief moment, it was Dogs.
Yes.
Let's see
Dogs
if they can
had
make
their
a movie.
day.
Yeah.
And they all got Macaulay Culkin. Their money was stolen.
At
Or Gary Coleman.
At number 3 this week. Oh my God. Oh, okay. Okay. I'm going to leave out the first part of this sentence and just say a group of teenagers band together to defend their town.
Goonies!
No.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Shit.
It's a movie that's just as well known as Goonies, though it does not hold up as well as Goonies did.
Not Outsider.
Oh, Monster Squad?
Nope. No. This is not a lighthearted teen romp. This is a serious movie. Very, very Reagan era.
Oh,
Red Dawn.
Red Dawn. Yeah.
I want to do that movie so bad. I would like to do remakes.
I
would like to do
the original.
The original and the remake of movies that were both bad.
I can't believe they remade Red Dawn in the 21st century. Like, guys, the fuck?
Right.
Thoreau, take a look around.
And it was North Korea.
I'm surprised they don't remake that movie every fucking 6 months.
I know.
And just run it on Fox News or the Daily Wire or whatever. I'm sure the Daily Wire has one in production right now.
But yeah, they wanted us to believe that North Korea put boots on the ground in the United States and succeeded.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, at least the Russians at that time, the Cold War, we were at least told they could take us on. Like,
right.
They were like, before your missile gets here, your country's going to be gone.
I want a double feature of that with The Interview.
Yeah.
Oh,
that would be fun. Just our weird American pop culture takes on North Korea in particular.
Who our enemies are, yeah.
Yeah. At number 2 this week, 3 scientists forced out of their university set up shop.
Ghostbusters.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. What?
Hey, don't forget, one was a janitor.
Yeah.
Well, he was hired on later. He wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't original. But
Yeah.
Even in the Lady remake, the only one not a scientist is Leslie Jones.
Yeah,
She works in the subway station.
Guys, come on.
They couldn't even update that. Anyway.
Yeah, Ghostbusters. What? As a throw in the 80s, my 2 favorite movies were Star Wars and Ghostbusters. Like, those were
Goonies.
The 2 columns. Goonies was in the top 10, but Star Wars and Ghostbusters were the 2 for me for probably a solid 6 years.
So at least in the last movie, Winston Zeddemore, he's like the most successful of the 4.
Yeah, he worked. It was insulting the remake.
Yeah. And at number 1 this week, opening at number 1. Wow, I really thought this was okay. I didn't realize this was a standalone movie. I thought this was part of the franchise that this actor was known for. All right. New Orleans single dad and cop Wes Block goes after a serial rapist / killer. But when he gets... He's a hyphenate. But when he gets too close...
The crime EGOT?
Yeah. But when he gets too close, the hunter suddenly becomes the hunted. The question then, is he going to rape and kill him? Anyway.
The circle of life, I guess? I don't know how it works.
What goes around comes around.
I don't know
Max Block?
Wes Block.
Wes Block.
Wes Block.
Not so bad, Lieutenant.
I definitely thought this was part of a cop franchise that this actor is known for. I did not realize this was a standalone movie.
Robo-Dad.
That just reminded me, Barry Block is back. Barry.
Yeah.
Back.
Oh, Barry, yeah.
Tonight.
Yes.
Barry.
Hell yeah.
There was a guy in this movie that reminded me of NoHo Hank and an animal of some kind. Okay, standalone.
Yeah, like this, we've done a monthly movie starring this actor. He's one of the big all-time actors.
Like in the heat of the night or something. I have no idea.
Oh, a Clint Eastwood?
Yeah, it's a Clint.
Oh,
it's a Clint. I thought this was a Dirty Harry movie, but it is not.
Oh, The Big Easy?
No, it's called.
Oh, that was Dennis Quaid.
I don't know if you guys are going to get it. The name is pretty nondescript. It's called Tightrope.
Tightrope.
I think the guy's strangles people, so tightrope.
Oh,
clever.
Yeah,
It's like a word.
Garrote didn't work.
Yeah.
Didn't get butts and seats.
Tourniquet, the movie.
Piano Wire. Actually, that'd be a good title for a killer movie.
Piano Wire.
Piano Wire.
A murderer that's like set in like, I don't know, like the world of jazz.
And he's like Hannibal Lecter. Like he has, the character has perfect pitch, so he can hear his instruments out of tune, and they insult him.
We should write this movie. I'd like that. It sounds like an episode of fucking Monk or something, though.
So that is it for the box office top 10, which brings us to...
Well, Tightrope was number one, huh?
Tightrope was number one. Opened at number one. Clint Eastwood could open a movie, man.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah. That brings us to the comic book background. It's a comic book movie. Al, Professor Weber, shower us with your golden knowledge.
Okay, the character of Sheena, Queen of the Jungle, was created by Will Eisner and Jerry Iger.
That's awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Will Eisner's amazing.
There's some dispute between the two as to who really came up with it.
Like every comic book character ever.
Yeah.
Both were thinking of a blonde lady.
Yeah. Like I decided to make her blonde because I did the colors.
The character first appeared in a British magazine, Wags, number 46, in January of 1938.
Wags.
Wait. Oh, okay, never mind. I'm thinking of the racist term that British people use for Middle Eastern folk,
Oh.
Okay.
Wags.
which is wog, which is from Lawrence.
Wags,
That's how I
made
know that.
by dogs for dogs.
The dog magazine that dogs love. British dogs, of course.
A British dog magazine for British dogs.
Made by British dogs.
Don't go with all this tuna and hooch.
Sheena first appeared in the United States in Jumbo Comics number 1, published by Fiction House. She subsequently appeared in every issue of Jumbo Comics from September of 1938 to April of 1953.
Oh, I'm sure she was popular. I'm sure she was stuffed under many a mattress.
So, Jumbo Comics, I'm just curious. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. Was Jumbo like an 8.5 by 11? Or was that like... I'm just curious about like the origins of comics in this era. Were there smaller, like Cracker Jack sized comics? And then like a Jumbo comic is like a normal sized comic that we know today?
Or was it like the Archie style ones where it's like they're smaller but they're thick?
No,
Yeah.
so
Short and thick. Which one do we prefer?
no, they were comic book size. There had been larger ones previously,
Like magazine size.
magazine size. They would be in Life or newspapers. Jumbo was just a name, so there's like Jumbo Animal Funnies, Jumbo Romance. It was just sort of a...
It's just the brand then. It's not them like highlighting like, we're your home for big comics.
Not like Archie Digest. Those were the digests. The
They
short,
were
thick
probably
ones.
a lot thicker, but they weren't digest size like the rest.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Interesting. I'm just curious about that era.
I imagine it was one of those, like, 5 comics in one for a nickel.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Concurrently, she appeared in her 18-issue spin-off comic, Sheena, Queen of the Jungle, from spring of 1942 to winter of 1952. It appears that it was a quarterly comic. This was groundbreaking in that it was the very first comic book to title star a female character, preceding Wonder Woman by approximately 3 months.
Interesting.
3 months. Wow.
Yeah, Wonder Woman number 1 was cover dated summer of 1942, and Sheena was spring the same year.
The year of the ladies.
So Sheena kind of lives in the same spot as like Flash Gordon in that like predating things, but not
Yes,
making
that
it
we've
into the
been
modern
talking about.
era.
Yeah.
Like she didn't make this leap to popularity into film. Failed.
The costumes.
Oh, there were films in the... Okay.
No, there
But
were,
like Flash Gordon, there were films and TV
Serials.
miniseries and serials and things. But yeah, just bringing them into the modern era.
But once the people that
Didn't
grew
work.
up on them stopped, being able to make the media, they stopped making the movies. Like Flash Gordon, Sheena. These are ones that like the people making movies in the 70s and 80s were nostalgic for from their childhood, but it died off with them. It didn't continue to modern times.
Right. It got ruined with like Phantom and Shadow. That was like the last gasp of that bullshit.
Yes.
Rocketeer worked, but it was totally original.
It's like Captain America almost didn't make it out of the 80s and 90s into
No.
today, like
I was surprised they worked because he was so cheesy for so long.
yeah.
Remember Flash Gordon ran in the papers, the strip. I think it continued into the 90s.
Yeah, I think.
Or was it more recently? Was it in the aughts?
I can't.
Maybe. I remember being very surprised.
But
I think they continue to rerun them in some papers.
They do. They do
Yeah.
still.
I've seen Flash
continue to
Gordon.
rerun Flash Gordon.
but
comics.
like no one, like they weren't really being read by younger people. Like I did not. I remember seeing Flash Gordon in the papers as a kid, but I did not read it. I didn't.
Or
that and Dick Tracy,
Sally Worth, and Dick Tracy.
Yeah.
Since it was just
Spider-Man.
2 weeks ago, Flash Gordon, the daily strip ran until 1992, and the Sunday strip continued until 2003.
Okay.
Flash.
Those were originals, not reprints.
It's interesting looking at comics. This is a weird tangential thing, but looking at the fact that we didn't read Flash Gordon as kids because it was a Sunday strip, like it was there. I read it. I didn't give a shit about it, but I consumed a lot of full length comic books.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me wonder if that's not unlike the generational shift between like now young kids are watching minute-long TikTok videos instead of getting their content in like a longer form.
It's gone
Just
the other way.
interesting. Those phases that we go through in the actual medium itself. I wonder if that was a thing that I'm not going to consume a story one line.
Well,
at a
that's
time.
it. Yeah, like I like the Spider-Man strip, but it was a serial, so there were 3 to 4 panels.
Yeah.
It's like no, I need a lot more.
Yeah. Well, I need a whole book.
And I was like learning about like the action adventure comic serials in general. A lot of the time, the first panel was a reprint of last week's last panel too. So it was really only 2 new panels a week.
Right.
That's interesting. I didn't even consider the previously on aspect of that.
Or like you'd be reading it and Spider-Man's not even in one of them. It's like Peter's still having the same problem. Like, can we get a villain? Yeah.
As mentioned, Sheena was published regularly from 1938 to 1953. This movie must have inspired some contemporary interest in the character, as Sheena appeared in several scattered publications in the 80s, 90s, aughts, and teens.
Huh.
I'm curious what like female readership of Sheena was. If there were women that were like, I'm drawn to this character because she has powers, and we don't get a lot of female representation. I don't know if there's any anecdotes or data to back that, but I wouldn't be surprised if half of it was perverts and the other half was women being like,
well, that's a surprisingly popular genre in the 40s and 50s were romance comics, literally romance comics. There's no story. There were also the horror comics, the Tales from the Crypt and shit, but just romance, just falling in love. I have a feeling Sheena fell more into the masturbatory realm of fans. But I don't know.
But I'm wondering. I was just going to say, I'm wondering, I bet there were some little girls that played Sheena. I know my dad, who was a child in the 40s, played Tarzan as a kid.
Right.
So, I played Tarzan as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like Tila and Master. Any like female character, like, your sister can have that doll. And you can have this doll. Yeah, I'm sure it was a lot of that kind of overlap.
Yeah.
Yeah, the girls always wound up playing Rogue or Jubilee when I was a kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
The comic rights to Sheena currently reside with Dynamite Entertainment, which began publishing Sheena comics in 2017.
There's currently a Dynamite Entertainment publishing Sheena, Queen of the Jungle.
Run by J.J. Walker.
I'm uncertain. I tried to find when the most recent issue would have come out, but I couldn't find the date of some of the more recent issues. So it might not be coming out this month, but they still hold the rights. Some of these reimagined Sheena comics, some of these comics reimagined Sheena as residing in South America rather than Africa.
Oh, okay.
That's just slightly less offensive.
I think I believe the Dynamite comics, from what I saw of images, I think they were back in Africa. But
it looks like the most recent was 2018.
Okay.
I know this movie wasn't Warner Brothers, but I would not have been surprised to learn that if DC or Warner Brothers had owned the character. Interesting.
Oh,
Dynamite.
Yeah.
This character, Sheena, is the young blonde daughter of Cardwell Rivington, who is exploring Africa with his daughter in tow. When Dad accidentally drinks a magic potion made by a native witch doctor, Sheena is orphaned.
So he dies from drinking that?
Yeah. What?
Yeah, that is what that means. But it made it sound like he got powers or like.
Did he become
she
her
poisoned
powers?
What?
Okay, so her dad was poisoned by the witch doctor?
Accidentally.
An accidental magic poisoning.
Oh, too much root.
Dad drinks a magic potion that he probably wasn't supposed to drink.
Fair enough.
And
he thought he was on an ayahuasca
He
retreat.
thought it was water.
He's all, call me Moondragon now.
the witch doctor Kova raises the young girl, teaching her the ways of the jungle and various African languages. Adult Sheena becomes queen of the jungle and acquires a monkey sidekick named Chim.
Chim?
Chim.
Fuck the P.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
I mean, the name Chim might imply that it's a chimpanzee, but a chimpanzee is an ape, not a monkey.
It's short for Chimmery Chew.
Yeah. These are Reese's.
Sheena possesses the ability to communicate with wild animals and is proficient in fighting with knives, spears, bows, and makeshift weapons.
So anything.
Sheena's adventures mostly involve encounters with slave traders, white hunters, native Africans, and wild animals, but she would also occasionally fight the likes of dinosaurs, leopard birds, cavemen, serpent gods, vampire apes, etc.
I'm sorry, leopard birds?
Leopard birds and vampires. Can we go back to those two things?
Yeah, I want the Fire Apes movie.
Is that a cat with wings?
Wait,
or is that a
aren't
bird
humans
with fur?
fire apes? Aren't we fire apes?
Ooh. No, he said vampire apes, which is even better.
Vampire. Okay. No, that makes sense. Oh,
Which
that's
is-
got science behind it.
Yeah.
Terrifying. Vampire ape.
I thought it was Fire Ape, and my mind went to crazy place.
Just are those apes on fire, or can they use fire?
Who knows? Let's stay away.
Just on fire. And
Watch your back. That's all I can say.
I'm trying to find that list was longer. I truncated it with the best ones, but the devil apes was another one in there, and gorilla men.
Gorilla men.
Are those advanced gorillas, or are those men who have
Yeah, they just wear
Reverted
shirts.
to gorilla?
Oh, and
Yeah.
there were lion men too. So,
Well,
like Flash
Most men
Gordon.
lack,
like Thundercats.
naturally.
Yeah, are they lions with men's heads or men with lions' bodies? Maybe I got that backwards.
Lions with a man's head. Just like, what's up, guys?
That's ridiculous.
In time, when Sheena's village is destroyed, she would find the companionship of a white safari guide, alternately known as Bob Reynolds, Bob Riley, Bob Rayburn, or Rick Thorne.
The many faces of Bob and Rick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is he running from something?
White
How many
man
identities?
Johnson.
Yep. Whitey.
Eventually, Bob Pinciati.
Oh, right.
And Sheena changed her name to Midge.
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 Sheena was ranked 59th in Comics Buyer's Guide's 100 sexiest women in comics list.
Woo!
Of course, that list exists.
What a list.
I'm sure Power Girl
When-
at the top.
Was that in
When-
Maxim, you said?
Oh my God, Maxim.
Remember?
Oh
That
no.
piece of
Yeah.
shit that I enjoyed.
Yeah, Brian, when you were asking about what women thought of Sheena, when I was looking at the Wikipedia article under reception, you'd think something would be there, but that was the only sentence written under reception
So
of
maybe
Sheena.
not largely consumed by female readers then.
Yeah,
Okay.
probably not.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
Maybe not.
I could see why she was a fan to women back in the day, but if you introduced her now, people's tits would explode.
I
They would be
mean-
so offended by
Wha-
Queen of the Jungle.
Watching this
Yeah.
movie was difficult today.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. And this was the updated version of Sheena.
Oh
Yeah, this-
yeah.
So, Thoreau, I don't know if you were going to mention any of the TV.
I was going to go through the TV history of it.
Okay.
Russo and Midge.
Yeah.
Including the 50s and what was the
And-
2000s?
And 2000s, yes.
Okay. All right. Then I'm done.
All right. Okay. Thank
you,
you,
Al.
Al. Yes. And
Thank
which
you, guys.
that does bring us to the screen versions of Sheena. It ran as a TV series from 1955 to 56, one season. I'm not sure how many episodes, but
26.
26. Thank you, Al. Yeah, I was gonna say, it being the 50s, it was probably like 185 episodes per season.
I was gonna say, yeah. I love watching Twilight Zone, and it's just like
If
this
it had
is
been a
one
soap opera?
season?
Yeah.
Yeah, could have been. Days of Our Jungle.
It starred Irish McCullough as Sheena. Irish McCullough, who was mostly known as a model at the time. She passed away in 2002 in Tucson, Arizona.
Wow.
Oh,
She retired down here.
great place to die.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. Yeah. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I just read her death. Complications from her fourth brain tumor.
Oh my God.
God.
Sorry about my joke.
Jesus
Poor lady.
Christ. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
the enemy she couldn't defeat.
But she claims she was discovered by Nasser Studios while throwing a bamboo spear on a Malibu beach.
That's pretty cool. That's a pretty
That's
cool
way
origin
cool.
story for
Now you
becoming
just have
Sheena,
to
the
be-
Queen of the Jungle.
Yeah.
Fucking A. Now you just have to be related to somebody in the business.
That's like
She was
Tom
throwing a
Selleck. That's like
How
Tom
was he
Selleck
found?
being discovered playing volleyball.
Really?
Yeah.
I would have
Beach
discovered it.
volleyball.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I've seen him in those shorts.
That mustache could probably serve a ball on its own.
Yeah, for real. God, probably does his taxes and everything too.
There were a string of Bollywood movies throughout the 80s. She first appeared in Bollywood. These were uncredited, unlicensed versions of her
No.
in Tarzan Sudari, which is translated as Lady Tarzan.
Okay.
Let's see, Africa Dali Sheila and Jungle Ki Betty. Yeah, in 2000, there was a 35 episode syndicated series starring Gina Lee Nolan
Wow.
from Price is Right and Baywatch.
Mm-hmm.
In this one, she could transform into any warm-blooded animal once she gazed into its eyes.
Beast Wars
What?
or Transmorphs? Is that what? Remember those books that were terrifying? looking?
Animorphs.
Yeah, they came out
Animorphs.
after we were that age, but I would see the covers and I'd be like, "This."
That's my era of Scholastic Book Fair.
Yeah,
they really
like
got,
we miss Goosebumps and all that shit.
yeah. the body horror of Animorphs is a thing I will never forget. I read the first one and I thought, this is the stupidest shit I've ever read. I've never read another one as a little kid.
I remember thinking, the creep in the basement. You should read Catch 22 if you really want to be scared.
I read every Goosebumps book. That was fine. Those were fun.
Oh my god!
But like Animorphs, it's like, so it's a teenager who's like sad because his parents won't let him go out, and he became a lizard.
What you got to do back then?
And then he went out and ate some bugs and came home, and that was an entire book.
The only R.L. Stine book I've ever read was The Dead Lifeguard, which
what's that?
Which we was part of the Monolith Players sketch.
Oh, that's right. You read from it.
I read
seriously. You were all
no. I actually read the whole book after that, but I read
on stage.
The dramatic.
You did a monologue.
We did a sketch where it was for a variety show, and we did sketch comedy, but it was for a sketch where we were Catholic schoolgirls, and I did a dramatic reading of The Dead Lifeguard while Al, dressed as a Catholic schoolgirl, did interpretive dance.
That was their book report. They were allowed to put on a presentation. Yeah. And then we also had actual little girls from the community.
That was amazing.
So it was a classroom setting, mostly little kids, and then the four of us, the Monolith Players, and there
just a bunch of teenagers.
Yeah,
with little kids. That's hilarious.
No, we were.
Oh, you were grown men.
We were like 19, 20.
We were late teens,
somewhere around there.
I guess so.
Oh, and Josh was Mother Superior.
That's right.
And didn't you also talk about your vacation?
Yeah, no. Because my character's name was Tammy Mussolini.
Yeah.
It's like, I went to your Disneyland where Mickey Mouse choked on the vomit of his own capitalism.
That's right.
And I rode the teacup 3 times.
Yeah. And I rode the teacups 3 times.
So, all right. Sheena was being developed in 2017 as a film reboot, which has not yet happened.
Is anybody attached or anybody rumored to be attached?
No, there's nothing.
They'd probably just find some underwear model, I'm sure.
Yeah, there's no news about that. There's no interest in a Sheena reboot.
Somebody's got to own the property and feel like I'm sitting on a gold mine here, though.
Right?
Dynamite does.
Yeah.
Sheena is a punk rocker. Is about Sheena, Queen of the Jungle.
Wow.
Yeah.
How?
In that Joey Ramone said it was.
Okay. I'll buy that.
And
he wrote it.
Yeah.
A cartoon drawing of Sheena appears on the record sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
There you go.
Huh. And Ike Turner said that Tina Turner stage persona, because she was what was her real name? It was
Mabel, or
it was
Lena May, or
something like that. Anna May
Anna.
Bullock. That was Tina Turner's real name. Yeah.
I just remember Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah.
Saying it so angrily.
Ike Turner originally wanted to name her Sheena Turner, but they went for the alliteration and changed it to Tina.
But the look.
The look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The hair.
Mm-hmm.
The tassels.
Cut up. Yeah.
Yeah. She wore those
clothing.
Yeah, shredded clothing.
That's
Even after Ike, she did.
Yeah. Well, she kind of continued with that, and like Beyond Thunderdome, she still had a Sheena vibe.
Totally Sheena vibe.
After watching this movie and now thinking back, that's interesting, man. I wonder how much of Tina Turner's fame made this movie possible.
Interesting, yeah.
Oh, if only they'd gotten her to do a song for the soundtrack.
It would have been so much better.
She just should have been Sheena, Queen of the Jungle, man. I'd have watched that movie.
This soundtrack apparently had 1 30-second piece of music like composed for it, and they just ran it in a loop.
Yeah.
It sounds like the exact same acoustic guitar music that plays at the end of A Fish Called Wanda.
Oh, yeah.
Like the exact same piece. I haven't listened to them since watching the movie last night, but I was the whole time when that song would come back on, I was like, is this that weird romantic thing from the end of A Fish Called Wanda?
Notice music.
Dude,
I know I didn't notice the score. I don't remember refrain.
Twice. It plays twice when they're invading Azan, and then at the end during the truck fight.
What's crazy is
Like,
that
they
during
blow up a helicopter to silence. There's no crescendo or any kind of
what's crazy is that
build.
that truck
You
fight.
just slowly watch it fly into a rock.
It's like majestic acoustic guitar to a truck fight. It's like, what are you doing?
It sounds okay. Not only does it sound like A Fish Called Wanda, it also sounds like Princess Bride's music.
It does, and
It sounds like Princess Bride music too.
and Chariots of Fire.
Heavily influenced by Chariots of Fire. Yeah, this is the most like
But all done
stolen
poorly.
musical theme. That's just like
It's bad.
not even peppered.
Oh yeah,
throughout.
especially the titles when she's riding on the beach. What beach?
And that's that same piece of music.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is
What beach?
right. It looks like a river. It's got to be a river.
It has to be.
because there
There's
are
no
birds sitting in the
beach.
water drinking it.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a watering
and
hole.
painted horses.
But you're right. It had that Chariots of Fire vibe.
Yeah, absolutely. The composer was Richard Hartley, who did a bunch of shit that no one.
Who wandered into the studio one day.
Yeah.
Oh,
The guy on the street with an acoustic guitar.
For this score, he was nominated for a Golden Raspberry, which was the
original Razzies.
yeah.
Wow. You know what? The guy earned it. He played 4 bars of music and called it a score.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it almost felt like a scam to get a check.
Yeah, I was going to say, holy shit, he must have made bank off of this for such little work. Like, picked up the guitar and just noodled. It's like, I'll put a major 7th chord in there so it sounds interesting.
Yeah, I'm looking. The biggest thing he ever scored outside of this, he did a ton of TV and a ton of bad movies people don't remember at all, like The Return of Captain Invincible, which almost made it onto our list, but it was Australian and never released worldwide. It was only released in Australia. It stars Alan Arkin as Captain Invincible.
Oh, what? That should be on the
Or,
list because it stars Alan Arkin.
Syrian.
But the biggest thing he ever did was the 1996 Stealing Beauty film with
I don't know what
Liv
that
Tyler. Liv
Yeah, I don't
Tyler's in Italy, and people want to fuck her. That's the movie.
Isn't that her whole life, though?
I can buy that.
Well, she's not usually in Italy.
Oh, Italy. I thought you said L.A. Oh, okay. All right.
The film itself. In 1974, basically a filmmaker said, "Hey, I should make a Sheena movie,"
He said, "Yes, I will buy an ounce of cocaine."
and
Then he says,
yeah, all this should. Documentary filmmaker Paul Aratow. So he obtained the rights and contacted Raquel Welch, and she said, "Sure." And
"Wasn't she in Caveman?"
Wow.
yeah, 70,
She said yes
in
immediately?
74 immediately. Yeah, it was 1974. People just
She's not a
people
prestige
just did
actor.
things.
She's just done a lot of work.
Yeah.
in
I just
70,
in
imagine
that
this
show
with
Happy.
Raquel Welch would have been so much better.
so I just
Oh, I'm thinking of Anne Margaret. Never mind.
Moon and I.
Raquel Welch also not very talented.
Moon and I just this last week went to the Loft and we watched the that John Lennon May Pang documentary. It was showing one night. It was very interesting.
She was the friend was there too, right? That you got to ask questions.
Yeah, Odell.
Oh yeah, who lives here in town? Yeah.
Yeah, Chris Odell. But yeah, no, and it was interesting. But the pertinent thing I'm talking about is in the 70s. So the way May Pang got a job with Apple is she walked into their offices in New York and said, "Do you have any job openings?" And they said, "Well, can you type?" And she said, "Yes." And they said, "Welcome aboard." Like fucking boomers, man. The 70s.
I know. That's
Wow.
all you had to do.
Wow. And she probably couldn't
and
even
then-
type.
No, she said she
Yoko-
lied. She lied.
Yeah, she left. Did Yoko introduce her to John?
No,
Or did he meet her around the
no.
studio?
They met her because she got a job there by
At
lying
Apple?
about typing. And John and Yoko came over to Apple to make a couple of their experimental films, and she was was assigned to do just personal assistant work on set, and they started talking, and that John and Yoko took a shine to her.
Yeah, I remember reading in the Goldman biography that like she sent May on the Lost Weekend because she
Yes.
she was done with John for the moment.
Yes and no. I mean, it was a little complicated, but yeah, basically.
I'm sure it was complicated.
Yeah. Basically, I mean, yeah, there was
Called her mother. It was very complicated.
Yeah, exactly. No, there was 2 years where John and May basically lived as a couple with like on their own. They even moved back to New York and got an apartment together for like 6 months before he went back to Yoko.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That was during the period. That was like by all accounts, like that was during the period where John was most doing things in the public. Like that was the time where he did his work with Bowie and Elton John. Like everything he was doing where he was like out in the public working with other people was during that period. Then he went back to Yoko and she was like, no, now we have a baby and you stay home.
Yeah. Her famous quote that not a lot of people know about is, I treat him like a mushroom. You just keep him in the dark and feed him shit.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yoko,
not a great lady.
No. And an heiress to the imperial throne of Japan.
Really?
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah,
well, I mean, John was no saint himself.
I don't think she was a direct princess,
kinda
but she was a
deserve
part
each
of
other.
the royal family.
John was no saint, but he was legitimately trying to better himself. Yoko.
That's fair.
Yeah.
He was
His heart
trying to
was
grow
good.
mushrooms.
Yeah, I mean, John grew up in a like sea dock town with like poor his dad was a merchant seaman and like that dude had
his mom was his grandma or aunt?
His aunt.
And his aunt, and he used to hang out with his own mom before he knew she was his mom.
Mm-hmm.
And then he found out, and shortly after that, she got hit by a truck
and died. Yeah. No, dude was fucked up.
Supposedly, he stomped a kid in Hamburg.
Yeah.
You don't know if he died or not.
Yeah. No, John got in a lot of fistfights as a teenager. He was a ruffian.
Yeah.
He became king of the jungle.
Yeah, he was a teddy boy. I was just gonna say, and that's how he got cast as Sheena.
Yeah, no, if we want to start a Beatles podcast, I'm all down, but we should get back to the point here.
Just
Sheena.
rock in general.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, Sheena.
Yeah, so anyways, he took it to Columbia. They didn't make the film. Let's see. After only 2 months, I had an office at the studio, and Raquel Welch was going to play Sheena. He said, the fucking 70s. So Universal. No, I'm sorry. He took it to Universal first, not Columbia. Universal. They spent $65,000 developing it, then said, never mind. So they went to Filmway. Filmway became Orion later in the 80s. And they were going to do it for a while. They got together. Nothing went anywhere with that for a couple years. So then they took it to United Artists, and they agreed to do it with writing a new script. And basically just kind of nothing happened for 5 years. They put it into turnaround. Columbia picked up the rights in 1980. They got Bo Derek on board.
Okay.
They were gonna spend $10 million on it. Aratow was still involved. He said, "Girls today need superheroes. I have a daughter who's 6. She needs someone to look up to. I want Sheena to do
that." She wants more child nudity.
Yeah. I want this to be the type of picture parents can go see with their children. He said.
Are you shitting me? Fail.
I mean, like, I guess kinda.
There's
so much violence. Like I don't know. I think that's our American perspective on the nudity thing. But like the violence is where I'm at. Like there's like we watch a guy get stabbed in the throat.
Right, but see that doesn't bother us. You know what
that's because we're Americans.
It's the puritanical, like you just said.
Yeah.
That
if we were German, we'd be like, "What's with all this violence in this movie?" Oh,
It's a visceral effect. Like, you could have a relationship with your parents where you openly talk about sex and things like that. But if you're watching a movie and titties appear or sex starts happening, it's just immediately uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I watched
it doesn't have
Titanic
to
with
be.
my grandmother as a small child in the movie theater. Oh.
And the worst part were the boobs, not
Oh.
the sinking of the.
No, it was definitely the sex in the car and the
Yeah.
topless sketch that were the
That's
most
it.
uncomfortable moments in that movie.
I bet. Yeah.
For a couple of Mormons, it was real weird.
So imagine growing up in the 80s where just arbitrarily tits appeared, just
Yeah.
out of nowhere.
This is what Aratow said about Sheena. The comic book was hopelessly outdated. It involved the killing of endangered species and also had racist overtones. We decided to create our own interpretation. She's a modern contemporary woman. Sheena is an 80s film, so Sheena is an 80s woman living in the jungle. She's in tune with the natural order.
It's like he's describing Working Girl with Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah.
A real 80s kind of gal.
Well, this is before the movie was made, right? Is that when these comments were made, or is this afterwards?
This was during the making of the film.
Okay. I mean, I could see that the intention is there. The execution
Yeah,
definitely
sure.
failed.
Sure.
She has the whole conversation about like people who take things aren't good. You know, it's her asserting herself. I
Yeah,
guess.
there were themes. There were definitely themes.
There were a couple of like pro-fem ideas that kind of came out of her mouth, and I went like, "Oh,
I mean, the
something.
strongest characters are the women in the movie.
oh,
Yeah.
for sure."
The king is kind of milquetoast. He got punched by Blossom's dad. I mean,
They hired on Leslie Stevens to write it. He made it. He turned in what was essentially a fantasy script. There was a lot of like magic and superpowers. They said, they felt that the basic concept was so fantastic that that was too much. So then they brought in David Newman, who was a writer on the 78 Superman. In addition to him, Lorenzo Semple Jr. has a
Batman.
has a writing credit on there. He was he was the TV series, the Batman TV series. He also wrote Parallax View, 3 Days of the Condor.
What?
Yeah.
Good movies.
Yeah. He wrote the King Kong remake for Dino De Laurentiis in the 70s.
Okay.
And he has writing credits on Never Say Never Again and Never Too Young to Die. Oh, that was Richard Grieco film? No, John Stamos. John Stamos. It was supposed to be a James Bond like thing. All right. Anyways, so yeah, and then of course, as I said, David Newman did a pass. He had he wrote Superman and Superman 2, the Donner Superman 2. He also has screenplay credit on Superman 3 and The Santa Claus. No, I'm sorry, Santa Claus the movie. Which is different.
Dudley Moore.
Yes, exactly. They brought in director John Gillerman, who was, let's see, he did all of the 50s and 60s Tarzan movies, including Tarzan's Greatest Adventure, Tarzan Goes to India.
Falling in Love.
Yeah. He also directed The Tower Inferno and the 1976 King Kong. He did the 78 Death on the Nile. So, you know, he was a well-regarded 60s and 70s filmmaker who was kind of on the way out. But later on, he did King Kong Lives in 1986. Oof. Yeah. His later filmography was not great. This was the second to last film he made. King Kong Lives was his last film. He lived until 2015 though, so I guess he just retired. This movie stars Tanya Roberts as Sheena. We did speak about her when we did Beastmaster.
Yep.
Beastmaster.
She was the
forgot
blonde
about
lady
that.
in Beastmaster. Yeah.
Didn't she used to sell dildos on
was-
TV late at night? Is that her?
Let's. I don't know.
She was more of a redhead in Beastmaster.
Yeah. Yes. She was. Let's see. She was a Bond girl.
Important.
She was in A View to Kill, 1985's A View to Kill, with Roger Moore. Was that his last one?
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah. She was the wife of the next door neighbor in that 70s show.
Midge Pinciotti.
Yeah, the ditzy blonde next
She
door.
ended up leaving the show because of that. She said they just kept making her stupider and stupider to the point where it wasn't even funny anymore. So good for her.
Yeah. She was in Mike Hammer, which was that series that in the
Detective
80s.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which wasn't bad.
It was no Spencer for Hire.
No, it wasn't. But yeah, she started out as a model, of course, in the 70s. But she also was trying to be a serious actress. She was in the Broadway production of Antigone.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And Picnic, which was a William Inga play. But yeah, so Tanya Roberts, who is the most 80s looking lady that isn't Tawny Katane that I've ever seen.
Yeah, she had tons of pinup posters.
Yeah. Ted Wass as Vic Casey. As we mentioned, he was Blossom's dad, but he got his start as Danny Dallas in Soap, which
That's right.
Yep.
Holy shit. Yes, of course.
yeah. That's
Or I haven't seen Soap in so long.
that. I want to rewatch Soap in a way. Like that was a
I
crazy
really
show.
do. Richard Mulligan.
You're younger,
Yeah.
Brian. Have you ever watched Soap?
No idea what it is.
Oh my
Billy
God.
Crystal.
Soap. Okay, so Soap is a sitcom spoof of soap operas.
Oh.
It's where Benson, Robert Guillaume, that's where the character of Benson was a spin-off of Soap.
Yep.
He played
Billy
Benson.
Crystal was a ventriloquist and
Bill-
always used the dummy.
It was heavily serialized because it was a soap opera, but it was hilarious. Billy Crystal, that's where he got his start. He played he wasn't a ventriloquist. He played a gay character. The ventriloquist,
there.
the ventriloquist was the guy that later went on to be on Newhart. What's his face? And
Oh, not
wait.
Peter Scolari.
no, it wasn't Peter Scolari. I'm sorry. He looks like Peter Scolari. But yeah, let's see. Billy Crystal, he played a gay kid in that. Richard Mulligan
Richard Mulligan.
was in that. The mom from
From Who's
Mona,
the Boss?
Mona from Who's
Mona.
the Boss was in that. Robert Guillaume.
Hellman. Mary Hellman.
Yes.
Catherine Hellman.
Great
Catherine
show.
Hellman.
I absolutely recommend watching it. I haven't seen it in years, but it was a late 70s, early 80s sitcom.
And it was high concept. It sounds goofy, but it was different than what was on TV at the time.
Yeah, it was very, very different because, like I said, it was heavily serialized because it was supposed to be a soap opera parody. It was basically
cool.
the Airplane version of soap operas.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll have to check it out.
yeah.
Is it on? Do you guys know if it's on anything? What
Oh,
network ran it?
probably
No,
not.
I haven't.
Was it
I
like
haven't
NBC?
found it.
Oh,
IMDb says it's on Crackle.
There you go. I watched Sheena on Crackle, and I have to tell you, the commercials were a relief. Every time I saw that Capital One guy, I was like, oh, thank goodness.
It is streaming on Crackle, Tubi, and Fubo.
Oh, where all your favorite movies are.
Yeah.
Yeah, the nonsensical words. Tubi's not bad.
Yeah. But yeah, other than Soap and Blossom, let's see, Ted Was, his film career, this was probably the peak of his film career, honestly. Oh, no. He was in Oh God, You Devil. Huh.
Interesting.
The 1986 version of the Canterville Ghost. Let's see. Oh, he was in a TV series called Men.
Oh,
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, me too.
I think it was the same guy that did Dream On. Remember that show?
Yes. Yeah, Dream On. That was a crazy show. They can't show that now because the music rights are ridiculous.
And the misogyny.
Well, that too. Yeah, but most in the last 20 years, he's mostly been a television director. He's directed episodes of Big Bang Theory, 2.5 Men, Everybody Hates Chris, Scrubs, Two Broke Girls.
Blossom of Chuck Lorre? I wonder. It sounds like he worked for Chuck Lorre and all.
It absolutely sounds like he worked for Chuck Lorre. Blossom was produced by Chuck Lorre. Does not come up. No.
All right, good.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's what he's mostly been doing the last 20 years. Donovan Scott as Fletch Agronsky. He had a last name. Okay, Fletch Agronsky. His film debut was in Steven Spielberg's 1941.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God. Okay.
He was a character actor.
He was Castor in Popeye. 2 weeks.
Oh, he was.
Oh
he was
my
Castor
God.
Oil. That's right.
2 weeks of this dude in a row. He was
Thought I
making
recognized
checks.
him.
he was Paco in Zorro the Gay Blade. Oh my God.
Yeah, man.
Oh my God, I love Zorro the Gay Blade.
He got paper.
He was Leslie Barbara, Cadet Leslie Barbara in Police Academy.
Oh my
Yes,
God.
he
I
was.
just watched Police Academy like 4 days ago.
Oh my
he
God.
was.
I've seen this
He was
guy
that.
so many
He was a lot.
times.
He was a lot like that. The actor that played Flounder in Animal House. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like if
Yeah.
you needed that sort of round, kind of goofy guy.
Yes, absolutely. He was a deputy in Back to the Future Part 3. This guy's worked, man. Okay, he did a ton of TV. Trapper John, Remington Steele. He was in Splash 2. He was in Psycho 3. He was in Crazies.
Oh,
That
that's not that long ago.
no, that was 1991.
Oh, then there was one recently called The Crazies.
Oh yeah, like tons of TV work. Frasier, The Middle. He's in. Oh no. Oh okay. No. So that's okay. His most recent work was in 2017 in the TV show Somerville.
Okay.
So, yeah, which I have never heard of, but let's see. That brings us to Princess Elizabeth of Toro. No relation to Benicio del Toro.
I had to look her up. I thought she was the princess in Coming to America.
Oh, no. Yeah, no. So she is the Princess Royal of the Kingdom of Toro. She is a politician, a diplomat, and a model.
Oh, she's the shaman?
Yeah, the shaman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking of the queen.
Oh,
My
yeah.
bad.
Yeah. No. Yeah, she's
I did not have to look this lady up.
okay. She was the Minister of Foreign Affairs under Idi Amin.
Only for like 8 or 9 months. Though.
Yes, from February to November of 1974.
Yeah, hopefully she was smart enough to smell the winds of change. Like, I need to get out of here.
Did you look? Are you looking at her Wikipedia page?
Yeah.
So in exile, returns, then back in exile, like immediately afterwards. Her life story is crazy, and this movie is right smack in the middle of it.
Yeah.
That's wild. Idi Amin, man, I'm surprised she survived.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I mean, being so
Brutal man.
connected to the outside world and all that stuff, and serving under
Right.
him in his government, and then fleeing.
I mean, the foreign minister. Yeah, she was
Yeah.
probably in charge of the propaganda.
Yeah,
Dude
like,
ate people.
It's very interesting. I'm so curious what she thought about making this movie, about watching, like being involved in like a coup in an African government in a movie after serving in an African government.
Has anyone ever seen Last King of Scotland?
Yeah, when it came out.
McAvoy and Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah,
Crazy movie.
yeah, man.
So so she is still alive. All right, this is crazy. So let's see. She escaped to Kenya in 1975, then lived in Vienna and London. Then she returned to Uganda 4 years later to help with their first national free elections. They were won by Obote, who continued killing his enemies. So she and her lover, Prince Wilberforce Nyabongo, son of Prince Leo Sharp Ochaki, escaped to London in 1980 and married in 1981.
Wilberforce is an incredible name. I just got to say that.
Wilberforce is a hell of a name.
Fuck yeah.
Then it says that in 1984 she played the shaman in Sheena. In 85, Obote was overthrown and was replaced by Yoweri Museveni. In 1986, Elizabeth she returned, and in 1986 she was appointed ambassador to the United States. Then in 1988, her husband, who was an aviation engineer, was killed in a plane crash. Following the death of her husband, she became involved in charity work. She became an official guardian of her brother's son, Rukidi IV, who has been the reigning Toro monarch since 1995. She was then served as Uganda's ambassador to Germany and the Vatican. Since then, she has served on Uganda's High Commission as Uganda's High Commissioner to Nigeria.
Imagine what that woman knows.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the guy who overthrew the Ugandan president in 86, I think is what they said,
Yes.
is still the Ugandan president.
Yes.
I looked him up, and in the 6th election for the president of Uganda, international observers confirmed that these elections were neither free nor fair, which I just thought was hilarious. Not hilarious in a good way, but yeah, exactly. Like
When the CIA gets involved, it's messy.
yeah.
They love to topple government.
Yeah. So, that's Shaman. Easily the most interesting.
Both character and actor
person
in this movie. Yeah.
Like, she was an ambassador to the Vatican.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
That's insane.
yeah.
What she must have seen and heard.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. It is crazy. Let's see. France Zobda played Countess Zonda, who was the prince's girlfriend, who was also the king's girlfriend, apparently.
Cast for having striking, interesting green eyes.
Yeah.
That's what. Yeah, she was the one I thought was. Yeah.
She's
Coming
best
to
known for
America.
Sheena. This is what she is most known for, but she's done a ton of, it looks like a ton of weird TV movies and stuff in France. Well, I don't know. Stuff that's in stuff that's in French. I guess I don't know what country it's from. But which is, her name is France, so I guess that's handy, convenient. Yeah, but
she only had one green eye, right? She had heterochromia.
Oh, I did not catch
I
that.
didn't notice.
yeah.
I thought her eyes were different colors.
Maybe.
That was
It's very
just me.
photogenic. I'm surprised she didn't work more.
Yeah. Let's see. Trevor Thomas as Prince Atwani. Let's see. He is he has a fair amount of credits. Nothing really big. Something called Black Joy, which was a blaxploitation film from the 70s. Yesterday's Hero, which was a film starring Suzanne Summers. Oh, and Carrie Elwes. Huh. Let's see. He was in the Space 1999, the TV series. Yeah, a bunch of bad TV and film work in the 70s, including an episode of a TV show called Minder, which was about which is a British comedy drama about the London criminal underworld. But he was in an episode called Fiddler on the Hoof.
Weird.
Yeah.
So a minder, that's like a British word for fixer, maybe?
I'd imagine so, yeah.
Why do they have to have their own words?
Right. Clifton... Fucking Brits. And their trainers.
It's a television.
Clifton Jones played King Jabulani. He's Jamaican and did mostly TV. John Forgeham as Colonel Jorgensen.
Is he the guy with the blonde hair? The like super blonde hair?
Yeah, the guy that I was wondering, is that like George Papard or like?
No, I thought he was the game warden from Jurassic Park.
Oh,
like they're like quiet. They're approaching the Tyrannosaurus paddock. You know that guy.
Clever girl.
Yeah, clever girl. But it's not him.
Yeah,
but he looks like he's in Mad Max. Everybody else is in this movie.
Yeah,
discount Rutger Hauer is what I kept calling.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
his vibe kind of reminded me of the nihilist from Big Lebowski.
Oh, yeah,
Uli.
Yeah. So this
must be exhausting.
Yeah. So George Forgeham, he did a bunch of TV throughout the 60s and 70s. He was in the Avengers TV show, The Professional, a bunch of TV shows we don't remember because dramas and action films did not survive the 60s and 70s to today. No one wants to watch that shit.
No.
He was in the original Italian Job, the 1969 version. He was in a 1973 movie called Adolf Hitler, My Part in His Downfall. His character's name was Wally.
Yeah, that's who took down Hitler. A guy named Wally. The Third Reich's most feared enemy.
Wally. He was mostly in British movies, stuff that did not make it over here, it looks like. Oof. His last film was Dead Man Running in 2009.
That guy wants to get to the electric chair.
Right. He passed away in 2017. Yeah.
That's it, right?
Yeah, there's nobody else really of note. Yeah, no one else is really well known or played characters that were necessarily very interesting. So, that's about it. This movie was reviewed by Siskel and Ebert.
We've had a lot of bad movies this summer, but we haven't had as many totally ridiculous movies as we usually have, or at least that's what I thought until I saw Sheena, which is based on the old TV series, remember, with Irish McCallum as Sheena, Queen of the Jungle. The movie tells the story of a little blonde girl who grows up to rule an African tribe and speak the language of the elephants and talk to the zebras and make her own jungle clothing out of such crude and simple materials as you might find in a boutique in Malibu.
Right, North Beach Leather Company.
Then an American TV crew discovers Sheena and instantly takes her side during a period of revolution in the kingdom. He's a real ace investigative reporter for television. He never asks her a question like, Sheena, tell me, why are you the only member of your tribe who speaks with an American accent? Where did you learn to speak that way? That's Tanya Roberts as Sheena. She doesn't look like quite such an authentic jungle creature as Tarzan did at the beginning of the movie Greystoke, but maybe that's because her African Earth mother is played by Elizabeth of Toro, who is one of the most famous fashion models in the world. And I guess that's maybe they use clay and things to make all of their wonderful eye makeup and mascara and so forth. That was Ted Wass as the handsome anchor man who falls in love with her. And I know what my favorite moment in this movie is. There's no contest. It comes after the anchor man has met this incredibly beautiful and bizarre creature who's been living in the jungle and swinging from one tree to another and talking to the animals and communicating. She holds her hands like this and communicates by ESP with the elephants,
Right,
you know. Then they come and do whatever she wants.
Like she's got a headache or something.
Right. So what does this guy say? Something like, teach me how to talk to the elephants? No, he says, what I love to do is take you to Wall Street and show you the World Trade Center while we both eat peanuts. This is a really savvy guy, and it's a really bad movie.
All right, that's your favorite worst moment in the movie. Here is mine. I mean, this is a dumb film, and that's okay, but it gets just too ridiculous when, in the climactic scene, they're up in an airplane, and it's a big battle. What comes to Sheena's rescue? An attack of killer flamingos. Weren't you just... I thought, no, they're not going to do this. They're not going to actually have the birds come in the cabin of the plane and attack, so you see long pink beaks attacking people. They did it. They actually did it. I was stunned.
I'll tell you something that amazed me even more, and that's the amount of nudity in this film.
Yes.
Now, this movie is PG,
Right.
not PG-13.
Right.
PG, and it is the only, I think, PG movie in history that could play directly on the Playboy channel. We see more of Tanya Roberts in this picture than we saw of last month's Playmate. Coming up next at the movies, someone is trying to get inside the head of the President of the United States and kill him by invading his dreams.
Woo! They hated it, and they had some of it.
I don't think I've ever seen them enjoy themselves so much.
Yeah.
Ever.
I agreed with both of them entirely. I'm so glad Gene brought up the flamingo scene because I can't wait.
And the nudity, which surprised me. I'm surprised the nudity came up because it's the 80s. But
Yeah, absolutely.
But they didn't mention the child nudity.
Yeah.
Like, I understand Roger's point. Like, there's a lot of Tanya Roberts for a PG film.
Well, yeah. And a lot of the tribes ladies dancing topless, but yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, you ready to jump into this movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bury me.
Let's swing on a very conveniently placed vine.
Queen of the Jungle. By the way, this all takes place on the savannah.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah, very few jungle animals are seen.
There are some sky islands here
Yeah.
and there.
Yeah.
Jungle.
Not a lot. But all right, here we go. This is Sheena. We open in Africa. A Jeep is making its way through something. Jungle, the savannah. I don't know. It's driving. We meet Philip and Betsy Ames and their daughter Janet. They're investigating rumors of a mystical healing earth whose powers are said to flow from the sacred Judara mountain. They come across a man buried up to his neck and witness a healing ceremony by the Zambuli tribe.
We're shown the picture of him. He has cancer, really bad cancer.
Yeah, he's got the tumors and everything. He should be dead. I love... Yeah, that's another boomer thing. Just bring your kid. Just bring your kid to any dangerous situation.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
And then leave it to its own devices.
Yeah, absolutely. They did not get her a babysitter or anything.
They took her to Africa on this rather dubious mission. Yeah. She doesn't have a grandmother?
Yeah, exactly. So they stay with the tribe. They go into a cave to, I don't know,
samples. Take samples.
Yeah.
That's all scientists do in movies.
Janet follows them. Nobody notices. And then she uses... And then brutally murders them using her powerful toddler voice.
I've heard some kids that can murder with their screams.
That's true. She causes a cave-in.
I thought it was mom that caused the cave-in.
Oh, I thought it was the kid.
Screaming for her.
No. Yeah, mom screamed out Janet.
Okay.
Well,
because that little girl's
mouth
name
of
is
the cave.
Janet. She's using her PTO from her HR job.
So a newly orphaned Janet is adopted by the shaman, who immediately says, "You're the queen of the jungle now."
Yeah, no,
there's a
that worked.
prophecy.
Oh, was there a prophecy?
There was
There
a
was like a
prophecy.
Tarzan.
There was a prophecy.
Some white people will die in a cave and leave their baby, and she will become queen of the jungle.
And will leave their problem.
Yeah, so Janet's days of overalls and shirts in general are finally over.
Finally.
We get a montage of a topless Sheena growing up, learning to communicate with the animals through ESP, telepathy. Eventually, she is forced to start wearing a top, paint a horse like a zebra, and ride around in slow motion on the beach. Then we get a credit sequence.
I will tell you this: when they, because they're okay, so we get a little baby kid walking around in Africa in a diaper, whatever. That's fine.
Yeah.
But then we get like young kid in a loincloth. And I was like, okay, all right, well, hopefully this is over quick. And then we get a secondary kid in a loincloth.
Who's like 11 or 12, maybe?
And that
Yeah.
was where I was like, oh my God, what the fuck is this movie, man?
Yeah.
And
That's
then,
what I mean. If you're a creep, you own this movie.
oh, and, but I mean, and then all of a sudden we roll credits and the movie starts. And I was just like, oh, thank God. She rode up in a bikini top. I've never been so happy to see a grown woman in a bikini top.
Yeah,
Although,
just a relief.
It would have been a choice if they'd had her play the entire movie.
Honestly,
topless.
I would not have balked.
that
at
would have
It
made more sense.
It would have made a lot of sense. It would have been a bold ass choice. But
Yeah.
seeing 3 kids just like in states of undress in the first 10 minutes of this movie, I was like, oh God, what are we doing? Where's this
Yeah.
movie going?
It was.
It's unnecessary.
It's one thing to see baby Kal-El, baby dick, for a brief
A
moment.
shot. Yeah, a shot.
Yeah. But this is like having 10-year-old Kal-El,
She's
with
running and
10-year-old dick,
jumping, and
you know,
yeah.
like,
Yeah, and again, the toddler version. All right, fine, whatever. She's a baby basically walking around. By the time they got to the preteen one, it's like,
yeah,
put a fucking shirt on this kid.
yeah, like
It's
that's-
weird to see in the movie, but to me, it felt like probably what would have happened in real life if this girl had been raised in
Sure.
Africa.
But this is
It's weird to see.
This is Sheena.
But why do
What?
the other women not wear tops?
Yeah.
Some do, but it's not like a societal thing to them.
This is also Sheena, Queen of the Jungle. Like realism is not something we are super focused on.
No, of
Yeah.
course not. And I love Roger and Gene both made the crack about like how suddenly they are like boutique bras and
Yeah.
bottoms and like sewn leather that's been tanned and
So we cut to the city. It's the country of Tigora. We meet the king's ex-football champion younger brother, Prince Atwani.
Flash.
he's a kicker,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
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 So, which is not to disparage any athletes, but it's like the least athletic football position. You don't have to do a lot of the training and stuff necessarily,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
which I thought was a really
And-
funny choice to not make him the quarterback or some like
Right.
pivotal player on the team.
He
He's a
apparently
kicker.
won a Super Bowl. He won a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
they
and
said. He's got a
Kicked
ring.
a 60-yard field goal.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. He did kick a 60-yard field.
And yeah,
goal,
you
which
can be a
is an
good
insane
kicker, but
field goal.
it's a utility position. There's just
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
But he was probably a soccer player.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, he's conspiring with a white guy in a bow tie. Who
He wears that suit too long.
he does? Who apparently just picked up smoking. Jude made the joke. Is this his first cigarette? Is that why he's?
Oh, that guy, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well, I mean, you guys understand why he was coughing, right? It was them showing that he's trying to get to the mountain so he can get the healing
Yeah.
properties. He's
Right.
not trying for the money.
He's
or
got
the power.
lung cancer.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't want to die.
But they also follow the movie rule of if you're coughing in a movie, you're gonna be dead soon.
Yeah.
Right. And the cigarette that never leaves his mouth.
Yeah.
This is I thought this was an interesting choice to put up front because they kill him pretty swiftly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a
Instead of
mislead
having
right away.
him be a tool to do anything, he just dies.
It would make
show
more
us how
sense that
evil-
they're right.
Yeah.
Like like a bad guy also searching for the healing sands, but it becomes a political revolution type movie.
Yeah, it's a coup.
Yeah,
I
it's
think-
a coup when it could have been like, I'm also looking for the healing earth.
I think if he had lived a little bit longer, it would have been better for the villain aspect of this movie instead of
Yeah.
it just being a cold-blooded, I'm taking the throne anthem.
But I love that
titanium.
He's at that outdoor
Well-
cafe, so it's like an alternate version of what happened to Alfred.
Yeah. Well, and
And
I'd point out that the prince wants it because wants this land that the Zambuli tribe are on.
Yeah.
Because it's full of quote titanium. He's not even
Yeah.
interested in the magic dirt.
No, he wants to mine it.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So, anyways, yeah, the bow tie dude dies pretty quick. The prince poisons him. Then we cut to the shaman, who's had a vision foretelling the death of the king. So she heads to the capital to try to warn him. Then we meet sports reporter.
Sorry, we cut to Sheena bathing in a waterfall.
Yeah. To be clear.
Don't forget.
Naturally.
Near the shaman, they're traveling to
Yes.
the capital city of Assam.
I mean, every superhero movie has a shot of the hero bathing,
In a waterfall.
waterfall.
right?
Yeah.
That's pretty
Yeah.
normal. Like
Yeah.
I've seen Captain
Naked.
America's butt in the shower,
or Robert Downey Jr. just completely naked in a
Right.
waterfall.
just passed out.
Sorry, that's my dream journal.
So yeah, we cut to sports reporter, we meet sports reporter Vic Casey and his cameraman Fletch. They're flying to the capital. Fletch spots Sheena from the plane.
Yeah, and I love the first reaction. He's like, a blonde gorilla?
Yeah.
Does he mean albino? But a blonde gorilla. Also, that's so weird that Fletch is on this water diet.
Yeah, that was odd.
does-
I'm not sure what that
It
was
comes
about.
up again, but it never comes up in any practical way.
I was
Yeah.
very unclear on what the water diet was all about.
They actually sell water pills, diet, and they're just water pills that fill your belly. Make you think you're hungry or full. Opposite.
I mean, fad diets were kind of a thing at this point.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I get it, but there should have been a funny sequence of him peeing or something, you know?
Or, because at the very first, I thought it was like, what is it, ouzo? Or vodka. I
yeah.
thought it was a liquor, and
Yeah.
the dude was sort of tempering his
Oh.
shots. Like, how many has that been? 3, 4. But then it turns out that it's water, so he can lose weight.
Yeah, and then later on, he's like two-handing whiskey and water, like because like it's of two minds. This movie's dumb. So
yeah, they played a worse joke out of it.
Yeah,
than
they did.
Yeah.
They could have.
Right.
Yeah. So they land at the capital. They meet the king and the prince. They get ready for that night's big state dinner. Meanwhile, the prince and his brother's fiancée, Countess Zonda, plot together to have the king assassinated so they can mine the Zambuli land. They plan on framing the Zambuli for the murder using a Zambuli bow.
Did he teach him how to high five at this point around here?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, when he got off the plane and he met the royals.
I love the king. I found it tingling and delightful.
Yeah, it's a great
I can say
reaction
that
to
about
the
so many
first high
things.
five.
Right. The shaman arrives in the city and immediately gets arrested.
By a dude that looks like Idi Amin.
Yeah.
He does look like he did.
He does, like big and the glasses. Yeah.
Yeah. The cops are apparently working for Zonda. What were they going to do if a Zambuli tribesperson hadn't shown up as far as like as framing the Zambuli? Were they just going to be like I mean, they had the bow, but what was their other plan? Like what we found this bow, it must have been the Zambuli, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was convenient for them that the shaman rode up right at the time.
I have so many questions. Well, and he kind of says that to
No, you don't.
the bride in waiting, where he's like, "That's a brilliant plan. How did I not think of that?" This conspiracy is the worst idea ever. They mount a crossbow in a tree and shoot it
Right.
from about 20 yards away,
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah.
crossbows, generally, projectiles travel in a straight line or in an arc. But you can follow and see oh, hey, look, it wasn't shot. Who was supposed to remove the crossbow from the tree?
Yeah, and wouldn't they all have turned immediately to where it came from and seen the crossbow? Because it was pretty visible.
Well, and when they show up with the Zamboni Zambuli tribeswoman, I forget what pasta they're named after. They come from a different direction than the arrow completely. So many of these things. Just if I were sitting there at the party, I'd be like, "This is fishy as hell, man."
Yeah.
Well, it's weird because it starts out as sort of a cute fish out of water movie with some magic realism, talks to animals and stuff, and then it becomes Iron Eagle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it becomes like a military air fight, political.
Yeah.
Well,
she still talks to animals, but it's so secondary. It's so
it becomes less
it's
Iron
Black
Eagle.
Hawk Down.
It makes me think of Return of the Jedi and Ewok Village. The back half of this movie is just Princess Leia and
the fight on Endor. Yeah,
absolutely. So that night, Vic and Fletch are filming the dinner. The king gets killed by an arrow from the crossbow that's made to look like the shaman shot it from a Zambuli bow.
I wish it really was Fletch.
Yeah. After dinner, Vic and Fletch with their assistant review the film and realize that the shaman was framed. The arrow came from the crossbow. So they head out to a prison to interview the shaman. Vic and Fletch arrive in time to see Sheena and her animal friends rescue.
They saw a guy with a crossbow on the grassy knoll.
I need to go back to this conspiracy. They captured the crossbow on film. They were there at the behest of the guy murdering the king.
Yeah.
He brought a camera to his conspiracy.
That was a dumb idea.
Why are you talking about the crime we're doing?
It makes me think of The Wire when what's-his-face, Stringer Bell's like, are you taking notes on a fucking criminal conspiracy right now?
Right, exactly.
You invited a cameraman to your own murder? Why?
He wanted, he stated it to Bowtie Guy, I think, that he wanted the world to see his pain at his brother's death.
But the moment it happens, he's so bad. He's not playing this. It's dramatic.
He's the host of the African version of Jackass.
Yeah. He's like
Zebra Ass.
Lifts his brother's head up and goes, "Oh, I guess I'm the king now." Bump.
But also,
I'm the captain now.
Also, that arrow does not that arrow goes kind of into his sternum there, this middle area. He would not have fallen over dead immediately from that. It would have been like, "Oh, ow, an arrow! Get me to the hospital." And
if it hits you center, you could survive, and if it hits you low in your guts, absolutely he'll survive.
Yeah. He just fell over dead immediately.
You have to hit something in the heart or the head. Anybody that's been bow hunting will tell you. I got it in the leg. Now
the
it's
blade
mad.
on that arrow is huge, though. It is a big tip.
It is.
So maybe it did perforate his heart. Maybe.
I guess we're picking nits over the weirdest.
Yeah. Anyway,
my question is just why invite the cameraman to your party?
I totally agree.
And why not have him place it at a specific angle if you want your cameraman to be there?
Right.
Well, and
I want the shot from here. I want you to get me and my brother having a candid conversation during dinner. No.
Well, then he's dead. It's not like it's a time-sensitive shot.
Oh, and there was the thing where they were like, quick, get a shot of her boobs.
Oh, for the network. Because the network wants to see boobs.
Apparently, it's a G-rated movie.
So, all right. So Sheena shows up and rescues the shaman, and they escape into the jungle. The chimps tripping the guys coming through the door.
She's got those bare necessities.
The animals.
This is the best part of the movie.
People were hilarious.
This is my favorite part of the entire movie. I watched this scene twice. It was incredible.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Or apes.
There are a lot of real zebras in these shots, but her zebra's a horse they painted, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Absolutely.
It's huge.
Because you can't ride a zebra.
Yeah, domesticating zebras,
I guess. You can like a mule, but not like that rate of speed.
It's an uphill battle. I guess.
Okay.
They're
All right.
hard to train. It's like training a wolf. Like, you can do it, but it's just
Well, she can
more
talk to him,
challenging than a
like-
dog.
It,
Hey, can I ride your back? My spine's not really made for that. It's cool.
Vic and Fletch follow after them in their Jeep. Meanwhile, the prince and his band of mercenaries arrive at the prison and decide to chase after Sheena and the shaman themselves. Vic and...
Did we list the animals that come to Sheena's aid? Because it's apes,
Let's see.
an elephant,
We've got
the zebra,
Lions.
lions.
and she has three main animals that have names.
Marika is the zebra.
yeah, that she's close to.
Chongo, Chongo the elephant,
Wait.
Chango.
Yeah, and Chongo is the
Means
Spanish
monkey.
word for monkey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is strange to me.
And the chimp is named Tiki.
They
There
should've shifted
are
the
African
dial on
words
these
for all these animals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Lion King taught us that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Instead, we're using a Polynesian term, a Spanish word for monkey, and I have a friend named Marika, and it means the little one in Swiss. Which I
She's
just kept
like-
thinking, why?
Why do you keep using words you know I don't understand?
So Vic and Fletch catch up with Sheena. They meet some lions, and she puts them in a magic circle.
What? Okay. Does she explain that? I guess she doesn't really talk. What's with the magic circle? It keeps mosquitoes out.
It keeps them safe.
It kept the rhino out.
And the lions.
Or was the rhino another guard momentarily?
I don't know.
Maybe.
No, some
Well,
of the
the
lions were
lions-
inside the circle with them.
They were in the circle on the car, and they were like, became loving companion lions.
They were left behind to keep watch.
Watching this movie, I just kept thinking, like, I would not want to act with lions. Like, fuck that. Just fuck that. No, thank you.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
I
so.
assume-
I'm glad about that element of CGI now. Not just for the potential cruelty or mistreatment of animals, but yeah, exactly that. I mean, we've all seen videos of a totally calm bear that's just finally like, I'm fucking done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Or Siegfried and Roy.
Well,
Yeah.
I think of the opening scene in Nope with the chimp that
Yeah.
kills
Yeah.
everybody. You know, like,
Yeah.
that shit
They-
happens.
Animals can get sensory overload quite
Yeah.
easily.
No, I'm 100% behind CGI and animals altogether. And honestly, guns too at this point. Like, there's
Yeah.
no
Oh,
reason
yeah.
to have live rounds
Ammo
on
at
a
all,
set
yeah.
ever. The whole
Yeah.
thing with Alec Baldwin, like the
Yep.
armor
The
for
rust.
Yeah, for Rust. The dude from John Wick was like, "There's no reason for that. We have
Oh.
zero actual guns on this set."
Yeah, they
And with
did
guns and
0 live
animals-
firing in all 4 of those movies.
And there's no uncanny valley. You know,
Yeah.
nobody looks at a CGI rhino and is like, that's not a fucking rhino. It's not like Tom Hanks in Polar Express, you know,
Yeah.
like there's no
We-
excuse not to do it.
We've been CGIing animals accurately since Jumanji.
Yes.
That's true. Yeah.
You know? Like,
True.
that was believable. I mean, Jurassic Park is a good example of that. too. I mean,
Well, and Ace Ventura goes to Africa. I mean, that was a real rhino that he emerges from. I got up and laughed in the theater. That was one of the funniest
I
things
think I might
did.
have pissed myself
stood
when I saw
up.
that. I was like 10 years old, man. There was definitely pee coming out of me when that happened. That hand out of the back of his ass.
So it starts with the 2 fingers.
Yeah.
And he's slowly working it, and then he's so naked and sweaty. It's like when Frank Reynolds comes out of the couch.
Oh my God. Yes.
Warthog. Yeah.
Yes. So, all right, the shaman dies. Sheena heads back to Vic and Fletch, and then the mercenaries show up.
Oh, wait. While the shaman is dying, the elephant is digging the grave.
He's like, I want to get a head start on this.
Because elephants are known for effective time management.
They are.
Well,
Sheena's like, she might survive, and the elephant's like, well,
Either way.
you know, it doesn't hurt to have a hole.
I'm going to ask my unanswered question about this. They're going to put her in a hole in the ground. Why not put her on the back of the elephant and take her to the place where putting her in a hole in the ground keeps her alive?
Well, I mean, I think because they're so far away, they don't think she'll survive the journey.
But like, are they really that far away?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because we see a number of characters walk from the village to
The city
town.
that she's never been to,
Yeah. Like, how,
which I understand.
Well,
but-
and that same and like Sheena made it there in one day
yeah.
when the shaman
She's the
called her
queen.
telepathically to say, "I'm in jail. Come bail me out."
Well,
Chico's bail bonds.
Sheena was camped out on the edge of Zimbabwe territory.
Okay.
Oh, that's fair.
Just
Yeah, they did.
showering in waterfalls.
Yeah, so much waterfall showering. So, all right. Anyways, so Vic and Sheena are gonna head to the Zambuli land. Fletch is gonna head back to the city to get the footage of the murder, but he drops that scene where the camera fell out of the Jeep. I was like, come on, Fletch.
Oh,
One
but
down.
that scene is the setup for the very humorous scene to follow.
Which was when
The prince finds the camera
and throws it
into
in
the
the
air, and they
Yeah.
shoot it all together with their guns.
yeah.
So
That's how a bunch of goons kill each other, is by shooting in their shared direction at a thing in midair.
Yeah, like when they're in a circle,
Yeah, like they're literally in a circle, and it's
or the
falling.
cops behind the cops. We talked about that before.
Yeah.
that camera only had the footage of the prison breakout.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And One Night in Paris.
The murder footage was already processed and back in.
Yeah.
It was already released.
So, okay, yeah, and Fletch arrives at his assistant's house, who has the footage. The two of them head to the assistant's childhood village to hide out while the authorities, who are now under the control of the prince, look for them. Back in the while, Sheena and Vic share a campfire overnight, and then Sheena bathes in another waterfall while Vic brushes his teeth with a stick.
I liked how stupid he looked brushing his teeth with a stick, trying not to ogle her. I thought that was
Yeah.
really fun. Honestly, I was like, this is interesting that he's not comfortable with her nudity.
What I
but
found
also-
interesting is that the concept of kissing does not exist in Africa.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, why did you put mouths are for talking? Why did you put yours on mine? Like, is that a thing? Do they not kiss each other?
I mean, there's
Right.
there's some cultures that don't have kissing. I have no idea which cultures those are.
really?
Like there's a couple like of the ones where they were like contacted in the 20th century that didn't have kissing, but I can't remember if they were South America or what. Like, I don't know.
Weird. How do you not accidentally stumble upon that
Right.
at some point?
So he kisses Sheena. She gets confused about it. The mercenaries destroy a village that Sheena and Vic were heading to and get themselves a helicopter as backup. There's apparently
That's oh sorry.
I was just gonna say they've got one helicopter in Tigora.
Between the climbing up the tree scene and the climbing down the cliff scene, somewhere I wrote down Sheena, Queen of the Upskirts.
Yeah.
Oh, well, and
Yeah, he had a shots.
what's his name? Blossom's dad, Vic Handsome or Vic Average.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is
Vic
he's a
Damone.
decent dude who is not staring up her skirt the entire time he's climbing.
Sure.
Which I thought I was like, that's an interesting choice that he's not like a total pervert, but it's clear that he's like, oh, gosh, she's so attractive. I'm sweating under my collar. Ooh.
Yeah, he was even reticent to get in the water with her because he was trying to be respectful
Yeah.
of her
He's trying to
space.
show off his
He's not a
bum.
creep. Actually, there's not really a creep in this, despite all the child nudity.
Yeah.
We get a little bit from the prince. A little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah, the
He says, like,
royals.
I can do anything I want, and his wife's
that's
like,
true.
not with her, you can't.
She's all high five to the face.
Actually, she was also weirded out by his chest hair.
Oh,
Yeah, she
Oh,
was.
right.
Yeah.
Why do you have
Animal.
fur?
I think that
Yeah.
was an interesting moment that they could have leaned a little bit further into, showing that she's actually curious about him and attracted to him. That definitely fell flat for me.
Yeah, you know
And the
she's never seen Pink Dick. You'd think she would have been like, oh.
Yeah.
So all right. Meanwhile, Fletch plays poker He drinks and considers whether he should go back to help Vic and Sheena or leave the country. He decides to go help Vic and Sheena. Vic and Sheena get captured by the prince. Prince's girlfriend wants to throw Sheena out of a helicopter into one of the many waterfalls in which she is known to bathe in. While her
She's
people
very
watch.
familiar with chains.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Vic tells the prince about the film he has that proves the king was murdered by him. And so the prince agrees to send him back to the city to get it and give it to the prince in return for leaving the Zambuli and Sheena alone.
And then he slaps the prince in the face?
Yeah.
Punches.
Or punches him in the
because
face.
the prince was making sexual innuendo.
Yeah.
He's all, whack,
because
show some respect.
Because he's like, Vic, wants her protected, and the prince is like, oh, you got lucky. Maybe you can give me some tips.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, listen.
Yeah, right.
And he's been very leering on Sheena to the point where Princess Zonda is upset.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Wants to throw her out.
And he's like,
fuck this snow bunny.
Yeah. He's like, listen, it's one thing to exploit an indigenous people for their resources. It's another thing to talk smack about a white lady.
I've had all I can stand.
So the prince's girlfriend takes Sheena up in the helicopter. She's going to throw her out of the helicopter into the waterfall, but Sheena telepathically calls a bunch of flamingos to attack the helicopter.
They looked like lawn ornaments. They're just smacking his face. They take his eyes out.
And we get a couple of shots at first of the flamingos.
Predatory birds.
Could you imagine being blinded by a flock of flamingos?
Well,
we krill.
We see what looks like maybe real flamingos in the air or real birds in the air around a helicopter. And then a shot later, it's like the worst composite, like we placed an image over an image.
Animated.
And you can see the shadows behind them.
Right.
And they're
they
all kind of
sucked
moving
into the
together. Yeah, like also, how are they not all just killed by the helicopter?
Sucked into the vacuum.
I forgot. Al, you're a scientist. When you have an active fire, a liquid fire, if you will, if you were to blow on that fire, would that put the fire out or would it stoke the fire?
So say you have gasoline drums
on the back of
fire.
a truck.
On the back of a truck.
Say you have those, yeah.
Common.
Yeah, I feel like
it would not put it out.
Yeah. I was surprised that scene didn't end with the truck blowing up and the helicopter blowing up too, and everyone going like, that was our only helicopter.
Well, also...
Usually with chemicals, it's the fumes that ignite and usually burn off first. That's why you smother it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Also,
blow on it. Certainly not water.
Yeah.
Even that, the helicopter blades don't direct the wind directly underneath the helicopter. Kind of goes out and to the sides.
Goes up, I thought. Like a ceiling.
Like directly beneath the helicopter seems like would be like the least windy place around the helicopter.
There's a cushion of air, basically. Yeah, and the chop is
the
around
birds
it
be
a lot
sucked
more.
From the
No, we're talking about
the about the flames in particular.
The fire.
It would blow. They push. They're pushing down.
It blows down.
It's creating a cushion of air. So if you're landing a helicopter, it slows you down because the ground starts to push that air.
Okay.
Oh, I
I
was thinking of something else, but I got
I think that the flamingos would have been sucked down through the blades, and we would have seen pink and blood everywhere around.
Pink flamingo blood. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I see the helicopter air and the gasoline.
Yeah. It would have stoked that
I think
fire.
that could spread it.
Yeah. It would not have put that fire out like a fucking.
No, it wouldn't have
birthday
put
cake.
it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so, all right. Anyways, then the Countess dies and the helicopter crashes. Sheena jumps out, though.
The Countess falls out of the helicopter. Just unceremoniously gets tossed.
Yeah. The helicopter pitches.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she just falls out. But
why does it pitch? Because flamingos
Because of the
took the dude's
flamingos.
eyes. They took
Flamingos
his eyes.
pecked out his eyes. Yes.
I don't even
The
know that they
birds.
have ridges or teeth. Like
They mostly eat like fish and
Krill.
right? Yeah.
they eat a shrimp that's pink. That's why they're pink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have they have those like fine hairs like a whale does.
Mm.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm sure they could bite down on something, but
They're just pecking.
Well, see, they weren't really
Their
biting.
hair-
They were just
they're not
they were
pecking,
using their
their
heads
horns
as
are-
hammers like
their
this.
horns are dull and
They were
pointed down.
basically, beating the dude with their face.
They were hitting him. They can't pluck.
Flamingos. Of all the birds to choose, flamingos. Like,
Yeah.
so
Again, they fly, but not very high.
I'm so baffled by that choice.
I loved it. I thought it
Considering
was beautiful.
how many
It was-
vultures are on the savannah?
Well, but vultures would make us think she's evil because they're not pink.
They're not happy pink ladybirds.
Pink murder birds.
that have just been pushed too far.
Yeah. So yeah.
The flamingos was the largest flock in a nearby vicinity.
So
Oh, we do see them in the
At the-
later.
pragmatic.
Birds.
yeah. So anyways, she gives her people a big speech and leads them against the mercenaries. They kill all the mercenaries. The prince ends up killing.
This is the Ewok village. This is
Yeah.
the end of Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, absolutely.
How does that thing manage to pluck your eyes out?
We're
I don't know
looking
if
at a
you can
picture
see
of a
it.
flamingo.
Not pluck, peck.
How does
I
it
would
do
ca-
that?
I would call it hammer.
It's
They're
pointy at
hammering
the end,
the
right?
eyes out.
No, it's round.
At the very end?
Very end.
I mean,
The
it's just,
bottom of the beak,
it's where it curves all the way up.
where its mouth opens.
That does look rounded in that picture. I don't
a
know.
matter of looks. It is.
Yeah.
It's-
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how flamingos kill a guy
Well,
in a helicopter.
well, in the scene, they're just smacking against his head, and
So,
then we
yeah,
see
it's-
him eyeless.
Was he eyeless?
Yeah.
Yes,
Did
Well,
they take out
it
his
was
eyes?
dripping down. It was like the goriest shot
It
of
was-
the movie.
It was blood. He's just being hammered to death.
But it was specifically the
He
eyeballs.
had no eyes.
The eyeballs.
There were cavities.
I didn't notice that he had eye cavities.
Oh,
So-
he did.
Anyways, they kill the mercenaries. Sheena goes after the prince who drove off in his Jeep. She shoots him in the heart with an arrow, but she's about to be run over because his Jeep's pointing at her when Vic arrives after he threw some guys out of his Jeep that was taking him back
the whole
to town.
jungle battle.
Yeah, there was a jungle battle. They killed them all.
There was a
We
jungle
don't have to
battle,
go
yeah.
into all that, Al.
Lions,
We watched-
rhinos, zebras, chimps, elephants.
Oh my!
and the Zambuli tribe.
Yeah.
And the
Most of those don't live in the jungle.
Yeah, Al, we're over 2 hours now. We don't need to go too deep into the jungle battle.
I agree with Al. Let's go deeper into the jungle battle. Let's double down. Let's circle back.
At least mention it. We don't have to.
I
deep
did.
dive
I
it.
said they fought the mercenaries and won.
Rutger Hauer got stabbed in the neck by a guy.
And thrown off.
He also begged for his life, which was interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, and he said the Nazi thing. I was just
Following
following orders.
orders. Yeah.
African tribesmen.
He was
like,
in that Hitler movie. It was Wally.
Yeah. So Vic comes back. He saves Sheena after she shoots the prince in the heart by ramming his Jeep into the prince's Jeep. He's badly burned.
I'm still alive. Just very badly burned.
his weird comment at the end, like they say, when you get burned to death, you don't feel anything, and you've got clarity. What?
Okay.
Some people,
What
some
is
people
happening
believe.
in this movie?
Thanks,
Like,
bro.
That's why the science lesson and not just like this is it for me, I'm gonna die, thank you for saving me and spending all this time whatevering. No, science lesson, exposition,
Yeah.
bury him in a hole. Fucking stupid.
Yeah, we cut to Fletch arriving at the village to find Vic buried up to his neck in the magic dirt.
Like so many 11-year-olds at the beach.
Yes. What do they do if your head's the part that's damaged?
Upside down, your feet are just sticking out.
with your ass on display.
My ass is fine.
Oh
It's
yeah,
my
yeah,
head.
yeah.
Like,
Well,
it's like a keg stand. They just hold your legs up.
We've mentioned the nudity, but at the but we get at the beginning the dude that was buried at the beginning, who, by the way, looked really smug when they were pulling him out of the dirt. The dude at the beginning. We saw his dick, and then we see Vic's ass at the end. We get a little male nudity.
Never enough male nudity
No.
in these movies.
No, I think there should be a law for every set of boobs we get a dick in every.
There's
movie.
a lot more now. I've seen Jason
true.
Segel's dick more than fucking
more than I.
Linda Cardellini has.
Stop watching that movie.
It's
movie do
many
you see?
movies. You think it's one movie?
I don't know. I have never seen him.
So yeah. Anyways,
You're missing out, Al.
yeah.
Apparently.
They pull Fletch out. He's doing great. We cut to him at the village, or they pull Vic out of the dirt. I'm sorry, not Fletch. Vic's doing great. Later on, Vic and Fletch are hanging out at the village, and Sheena wants Vic to stay there, but he's going to take some dirt back to the outside world. But he realizes if he tells him where it comes from, the corporations will destroy her home. So he's going to leave to do, I don't know. I don't care. I don't care why he's going to leave.
Wakanda forever.
Yeah. They're on an airplane back. He listens to a recording.
Well, they finally get their private time, and Vic tells her to put out the do not disturb leopard.
Housekeeping.
Yeah. We learn that he records a farewell message, and we learn that they did indeed get busy, do the wild thing, knock the boots, all the other 80s euphemisms
in one position.
Yeah. Then Sheena takes a ride on her zebra horse through the jungle of the Serengeti, and credits roll.
To
Far
that
from
same
the
acoustic
jungle.
guitar song that was used to introduce her when she was a naked kid.
That
She
they
was
played over the
freeing the shaman from the prison.
that they played over the action climax of the movie.
The truck fight. There was a truck fight in this movie. Who
There was a
fights in
helicopter
fucking truck?
crash. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's Sheena. Credits roll.
That is
We are
1984's
fucking
Sheena. G-rated.
done. PG.
Go see it. Go
PG.
see it. PG.
Yeah.
Go see it with your grandma.
Yeah. I don't know. Any other unanswered questions?
I mean, probably. Like, yeah.
I mean, but like stupid ones we've done, none of those animals live in the jungle.
Oh,
Indian elephants live in the jungle. African elephants live on the savannah. Lions are never anywhere near it.
A jungle.
Yeah,
jungle.
well, and then you've got chimpanzees and elephants and lions all together in the same place.
And a zebra.
Yeah.
And flamingos, apparently.
Well, I mean, like the zebra, flamingo, and elephant, like the African elephant, I can see that. And a lion.
They all
But, like,
fit
the
together.
chimpanzee,
But they have nothing
not-
to do with the jungle.
yeah, but not all of them where we are. It's weird. It's I
Right.
mean, it's
No,
it's an American. take
Primates
on it.
learned pretty early that those savanna trees were not very protected.
Yeah.
That's why
learned
they
pretty
came
early
down.
that lions can climb trees.
So this isn't really an unanswered question about this movie, but I want to bring up the Flash again and this, or not the Flash, Flash Gordon and this.
Flash.
Do we think that these will get a serious remake that will be successful? Do you think that this in particular could be remade and work?
I doubt it. I
doubt
fucking
it.
doubt it.
I think the younger generation is accustomed to a higher, like they want an Infinity Stone saga.
Yeah.
Forget about all the like antiquities and all the like weird out of date shit. Like she can talk to animals, so
Yeah.
can she shoot lasers out of her eyes? Because that's where I'm at.
Well, and also like the overtones of imperialism are so heavy in this, even if it's not specifically being addressed in this film.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, why make this movie when you can make The Woman King?
Yeah, exactly.
like an actual movie with actual representation about actual culture and actual events that happened. Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess that makes
exactly.
sense. Flash Gordon, though.
Flash Gordon.
That could possibly be, but Ming would have to be changed.
Yeah.
It would have to be. I think it would have to be funny. I don't think it could work as a
Yeah, like
a serious movie.
weirdly,
like
I could see Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, like where he is that's just off the top of my head, but he is a football player and he gets sucked into this. Yeah,
I could,
you know,
I could see
it could
something
work.
like this working and being very self-aware of how racist it is. Kind of a Tropic Thunder take on Sheena being in a Flash Gordon universe.
It would have
I
just
could-
taken one line in this movie, just one person going, "You're the Queen of the Jungle," like Fletch or the people that didn't know her. Just like, wait a minute, you're the Queen of the Jungle?
Or be like,
Was
you're
it
the
Roger who asked, like, how did you become the Queen of the Jungle? How do you have an American accent?
You represent this tribe?
Or even better, like, you're the queen of the savannah? The queen of the jungle. This isn't the jungle.
Yeah, anything.
Yeah.
I don't think she was like royalty queen.
No. It's that she could
didn't
talk
rule-
to animals.
She didn't
controlled
rule the
jungle.
tribe,
No.
Yeah.
as someone
that
has
kind
said
of queen.
earlier.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't. Yeah, not the Queen of the tribe, no.
But
She
the
can
queen of
communicate with animals, so she's the Queen of the jungle.
Is she the queen of any jungle or just the jungle around? Just
The
mountains?
jungle. So she goes to Thailand, she's the queen there.
She's the queen of the Guns N' Roses jungle.
Yeah. She's got fun and games, but watch out.
Yeah. So, all right. I think that's about
that
all
is
we
it.
got on Sheena. Good
Let's
riddance.
rank it.
Oh no.
Is this the queenest of the jungles?
No, it's actually not. I don't think.
Is this not number one on our Queen of the Jungle list?
I'm not sure because we did
De facto.
we did I would say that Shuri is a better queen of the jungle as Angela Bassett.
That's true.
Like
Fair.
They're a real royalty.
yeah. So, all right, that is it for Sheena. Next week on Harmless Phosphorescence, we're going to be doing Dick Tracy.
Okay, that movie's bonkers.
I am excited about this one
I am too.
because it's crazy, and
It makes me so uncomfortable.
there's recent Dick Tracy developments that are going to be fun to talk about.
I like that movie,
okay.
or maybe. Or I did.
Probably not in the way you're thinking, Brian, but there has been technically recent Dick Tracy content which has allowed Warren Beatty to retain the rights.
So you
Wow.
say there's some dick rising in the future?
There is. It's the Dick. I was gonna say it's the Dick War to be followed up by the Dick Game.
Bag of dicks.
That's next week on Harmless Phosphorescence. Until then, thanks for hanging out with us, guys. This has been your host, Throw Smiley. I'm going to go bury myself up to the neck in sand in order to heal from watching this movie.
Hey, it's your favorite blonde gorilla, Josh Cece.
I'm Brian Lesh, and before you bury Throw, can somebody unbury me?
And I am grenade tossing chimpanzee, Alaric Weber.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see
Sergeant Bananas reporting for duty.
We'll see you next time, everyone. Bye.
Bye.